Stop proving your worth and start designing your life. Why softness is the most disruptive strategy for Black women in business. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom we deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the absolute honor of sitting down with Precious Cobb, a visionary who is transforming how Black professionals and entrepreneurs think about success, power, and sustainability. Precious Cobb is not just rewriting the rules, they are redefining what it means to build wealth and impact without sacrificing your peace, your health, or your joy. Their work is a love letter to every Black woman who has been told that exhaustion is the price of excellence. And they are here to tell us, lovingly but firmly, that we deserve better. They are reshaping the narrative around work, rest, and worthiness for an entire generation of Black women who have been told to grind until they break. So today, I want to share with you the profound insights from our conversation, insights that I believe can change the way you move through your career, your business, and your life. Let me start with something Precious Cobb said that stopped me in my tracks. Softness is not the opposite of power. It is a strategy for sustainable power, especially for Black professionals and entrepreneurs navigating systems that were not built for us. Now, wait, shut. I know what you might be thinking. Soft in this economy, in these boardrooms, in these spaces where we are already underestimated, underfunded, and overlooked. But here's the thing, we have been conditioned to believe that we must constantly grind, overperform, and harden ourselves just to be allowed in the room. We've been taught that our value is measured by how exhausted we are, how much we can carry, how little we complain. And yet, the data shows us something heartbreaking. The room is still inequitable. For every 100 men promoted to manager, only 82 women of color get the same promotion. We are literally paying for this overwork and overperformance, and we are still not reaping equal rewards. So, Precious Cobb is challenging us to ask a different question. What if centering ease, emotional safety, and alignment in our work is not a luxury? What if it is a competitive advantage? When we reclaim our nervous systems, our time, and our boundaries, we make sharper decisions. We spot better opportunities. We are more resilient in an economy that is statistically harsher on us. From higher unemployment and longer jobless spells for Black women to the chronic underrepresentation in leadership and funding. Your softness, your intuition, and your need for rest are not things to fix. They are assets to design your career or business around. Now, wait, let me break down three key insights from our conversation because these are the takeaways I want you to hold close, to write down, to come back to when the world tries to convince you that you need to do more, be more, prove more. First, soft does not mean small, it means strategic. You can intentionally design your career or business around ease, boundaries, and alignment and still be profoundly ambitious. The data already tells us the system is not neutral. Black women have higher unemployment rates and longer jobless spells than white counterparts. Women of color receive fewer promotions into management. That means overextending yourself to prove your worth doesn't guarantee access. But building strategy, leverage, and support systems does. Your value is not measured by how exhausted you are. Softness is a way of working that protects your energy while you build wealth and impact. It's about being intentional, not invisible. It's about being strategic, not small. Think about it. When you're constantly exhausted, when your body is in fight or flight mode, when you're running on fumes, You cannot make the kind of strategic decisions that build generational wealth. You cannot spot the opportunities that will change your life. You cannot show up as the leader, the visionary, the creator you were meant to be. Softness gives you the mental and emotional bandwidth to think bigger, dream bolder, and move smarter. Second, you need a soft infrastructure as much as a business plan. Most of us are taught to obsess over strategy, marketing, or resumes, but we are rarely taught to build systems that protect our mental health, time, and creativity. Yet, those are the very things we need to sustain our careers in a labor market where Black women face more instability and barriers to advancement. A soft infrastructure looks like clear boundaries on your time and capacity, non negotiable rest and recovery windows, support, whether that's coaches, therapists, assistants, peer masterminds, or mentors. Work that is aligned with your values, not just your skills. If your life doesn't feel good, the success is incomplete. Build your business and career around how you want to feel daily. This is not indulgence. This is survival. This is sustainability. This is how you stay in the game long enough to win. And let me be clear, this is not about being soft in a way that makes you small or invisible. This is about being soft in a way that makes you untouchable. When you have a soft infrastructure, you have options, you have leverage, you have the freedom to say no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what does. Third, reclaiming ease is an economic strategy, not just a wellness choice. When we normalize rest, delegation, and saying no, we free up the creative bandwidth required for higher level thinking, spotting market gaps, raising capital, pursuing leadership roles, building scalable offers. This is critical when Black entrepreneurs and professionals are already navigating structural obstacles in funding, promotions, and access to opportunity. Choosing ease is not checking out. It is how you move from hustling for survival to building for legacy. Now, let me share with you some real world examples that Precious Cobb walked me through because these stories are not just inspiring, they are proof that this approach works. Let's start with the Tony Elumelu Foundation and the Investing in Young Businesses in Africa Women Entrepreneurship for Africa program. This is a partnership that supports African women led green businesses with funding, training, mentorship, and a lifetime digital support community. It centers women entrepreneurs in sectors like sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, and the circular economy, helping them grow businesses that are both profitable and mission driven. Now, African women entrepreneurs often face restricted access to capital, training, and networks despite leading high potential ventures. Structural barriers, including gender bias in funding and limited support infrastructure, make it harder to scale, creating constant pressure to hustle without adequate resources. But here's what happened when they were properly resourced. The first cohort empowered 751 African women led green businesses with $3.99 million dollars in funding. Each selected entrepreneur received $5,000 in non refundable seed capital, comprehensive business management training, a customized green curriculum, mentorship, and lifetime access to the TF Connect platform, plus masterclasses on finance, resilience, digital growth, leadership, and expansion. The program is now scaling to support more than 1,000 African women entrepreneurs in its second cohort, expanding impact across multiple African countries. Since inception, the Tony Elumelu Foundation has disbursed over $100 million dollars in direct funding to 24,000 African entrepreneurs who have collectively created over 1.5 million jobs and generated over $4.2 billion dollars in revenue. This is what happens when Black women are properly resourced with money, training, and community. They build businesses rooted in impact and sustainability. They don't just survive, they thrive. and they do it without burning out. Now, let's talk about the data on Black women's employment and promotion barriers, because this is where the case for softness as strategy becomes undeniable. Recent data on employment and promotion patterns reveals that Black women are disproportionately affected by job losses, unemployment, and slower advancement, even when they are working and striving at very high levels. Between September and November in a recent period, women lost 35,000 jobs, despite overall employment ticking up slightly. Black women's unemployment remained elevated at 7.1%, compared with 5.9% a year earlier, showing increased difficulty in securing stable employment. Black women faced longer unemployment spells, averaging 14.5 weeks, compared to 8.6 weeks for white women and 9.6 weeks for white men. In promotion pathways, for every 100 men promoted to manager, only 87 women and 82 women of color received that promotion, shrinking the pipeline for leadership roles. The numbers reveal that overwork does not guarantee protection from job loss or discrimination. For Black professionals, especially women, a more sustainable strategy is to leverage soft skills, networks, and boundaries to create options and reduce dependence on any single employer. You cannot hustle your way out of structural inequity, but you can design your way into more power, autonomy, and ease. And finally, let's talk about Black entrepreneurship and wealth building, because this is where the shift from survival hustle to intentional ownership becomes real. Data on Black business ownership and women founded startups illustrates both the challenges and opportunities for Black entrepreneurs looking to move from high stress employment to more self directed, ease centered wealth building. Black people are underrepresented in business ownership relative to their share of the population, which contributes to the racial wealth gap. Only 25% of startups are founded by women, and women of color face additional barriers in accessing venture funding and leadership opportunities. But many Black professionals are turning to entrepreneurship as a path to autonomy, flexibility, and wealth, building businesses that integrate their values and lifestyle priorities. In the US, the growth in Black owned businesses contributes to job creation, community stability, and local wealth building, even in the face of systemic financial barriers. Women, including Black women, are increasingly present in entrepreneurship spaces, drawn by flexibility and alignment with their desired lifestyle. When we design our businesses and careers with ease and alignment at the center, we are not opting out of ambition. We are redefining success on our own terms. So here's what I want you to take with you today. Releasing the cape means recognizing that your worth is not tied to how much you can carry. Redefining strength means understanding that softness is not weakness, it is wisdom. Embracing softness means giving yourself permission to rest, to say no, to protect your peace. Healing in real time means tending to the wounds that the world told you to ignore. Protecting peace as a practice means building boundaries that honor your energy, and turning survival into something sacred means using your story, your struggle, and your strength to build a legacy that feels good, not just looks good. Now, when I want to leave you with something that will challenge you. If you stopped proving and started designing, what would a soft, deeply successful life look like for you? What if you gave yourself permission right now to stop performing for a system that was never designed to reward you fairly? What if you decided today that your rest is revolutionary, that your boundaries are non negotiable, that your joy is the entire point? Here's your call to action. This week, I want you to identify one boundary, one support, or one small act of rest you can commit to. Maybe it's saying no to a project that drains you. Maybe it's hiring help. Maybe it's taking a full day off without guilt. Maybe it's reaching out to a mentor or therapist. Maybe it's simply giving yourself permission to do less and be more. Write it down, share it with someone you trust, and then do it. Because this is not just about self care, this is about self preservation. This is about building a life and a legacy that honors all of who you are. This is about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your power. You deserve support, not just struggle. You deserve ease, not just exhaustion. You deserve a life that feels as good as it looks. So stop proving, start designing, and step fully into your soft girl era.